Hello, Sharon Plache here, and stepping in to go over a few basics on how to determine our appropriate baseline when we're doing muscle testing. So, muscle testing has become really popular in these last years 5, 10, 15, 20 years for assessing decision making, belief systems, and evaluating information, particularly from our unconscious mind, and even the things that are the highest and best for us. So, I have students and clients often saying, how do I get an accurate baseline so I know my muscle testing is accurate? And it's a great question. So let's first talk about muscle testing. It's utilizing the binary language that we actually know to have even in computers, that 1, 0, yes, no, on, off. Well, our brain is a supercomputer and our body responds to that. So we can use that technology and that fundamental principle to assess things going on in our body, decisions, choices, and even belief systems that we have. So how do we do that effectively and make sure that we're accurate? Let's take a look at that. So muscle testing can come in lots of ways. Some people use body as pendulum, where they tip forward and back. Other people use circuits where they use their fingers, bring two circuits together, and then they test. Does it say strong or weak? They could pull two circuits apart. There's all kinds of techniques that different people use. And then sometimes people love their pendulums, right? We can have the same principle, spinning one direction or another, or rocking back and forth. So that binary yes, no, on, off language is available numerous ways. So we're going to use body as pendulum today and talk about three major principles that we need to make sure we have. So the first one is hydration. So our bodies, to be accurate in its processing of information and energy, is we need to be hydrated. So drinking plenty of water is a fundamental key. If we don't have water available to us, we can always reach back here and massage our kidneys. Now, our kidneys are part of regulating the fluid hydration system of our body. So principle number one is hydration. Number two is polarity. So the human body, we're an electrical circuit board, and there's positive at the head, negative at the feet. And one way to really charge that up and calibrate it, much like a battery, is to sweep up the midline of the body, right? It's as though we're closing the jacket and the zipper, we're lining it up, we're bringing all of our energy to a central midline, and we're charging it up. So that's principle number two, getting the polarity and synchronization and balancing of our electromagnetic field. And number three is determining absolutes, yes, no, as a fundamental principle before we start testing beliefs and other decisions and choices. So what might that look like? We could stand and face towards north because that helps us to align with the polarity of the planet. If we can't face north, we can imagine that we're facing north, and that supports that fundamental alignment in our bodies. And then I'm going to use my body as pendulum, right? So if I'm thinking about checking a statement as an absolute, my body already knows that going forward is my yes and going back is my no. Just as when we're in school and someone calls out our name, hey, Sharon, we go, yes, that's me. And if they say, hey, are you Robert? We go back, right? That's my grandfather's name. And so I would pull back and go, no, I'm not Robert. That's my grandfather, right? I'm Sharon, right? I go forward. So we actually naturally have this inclination of a forward or back movement as a fundamental yes and a fundamental no, right? So I've had my water, I've zipped up, I'm facing north, and I can say my name is Sharon, and I naturally go forward, just like if someone called me. If I say my name's Robert and I go back, it's just as though someone called me as my name and I step back and go, no, that's not me. So that's an example of an absolute baseline. Another one I could utilize is where I was born, right? So I've zipped up, I'm facing north, and I say I was born in France, and I go back. So it might have been a fun place to be born, but I actually wasn't born there. And my unconscious mind and my neural network actually knows that. If I stand here and I say I was born in the United States and I go forward, my unconscious mind and neural network knows that to be an absolute truth, right? Because I was born in the United States. So that's number two, right? Another fundamental absolute. So I could also check fundamental absolutes that are really important, such as I am myself, right? I am I. I am my original soul. So if for some reason I went back on those, I need to ask myself, where am I? Am I being someone else? Did I lose myself along the way? And I would want to call myself home and zip myself up into the truth of who I am, because that could also influence my muscle testing and my baselines. So that, for example, is a number 3. I could also check something else like where I live, right? So I currently live in California. I go forward on that, right? I currently live in Australia. I go back on that, right? So then again, that's a fundamental absolute that's going on in my life currently. Now, when those muscle testing, whether it's body as pendulum or using my fingers or a pendulum, those are accurate. That is my baseline, that is my structure, that is my foundation that I can now carry forward and start to make inquiries on belief systems, supplements, choices, and what's the highest and best. So take care. Keep working with your muscle testing. Keep refining it. You're amazing. It's your natural gift and talent, and always happy to be here and support you. Namaste. See you soon. Thank you.